We're gonna try to look a little bit more formal today. I'm not doing a good job with this t-shirt. Alright, so in this video we're gonna be talking about blood pressure and what is it and how do you measure it. And blood pressure is one of those things that you usually get when you're in a medical office for your physical exam, and basically what they do is they hook a blood pressure cuff up to you, they inflate it, and then they hold a stethoscope right here and they listen for a heartbeat, a lub-dub. And what your blood pressure is, before we talk about how it's measured, is your heart has a contracted state and a relaxed state. And so when your heart is in its contracted state, that's when the pressure is at a maximum. That's called your systolic pressure. When it's in the relaxed state, so it's like lub-dub, lub-dub, lub-dub. So when it's in the relaxed state, that is your diastolic pressure, the more relaxed lower pressure. And so when you have that blood pressure cuff on you, and when the nurse or the doctor or whoever has their stethoscope right here, they are listening to the flow of blood in this vein and right here, so that when they inflate that blood pressure cuff, generally will go to like 200 millimeters of mercury. And the reason for that is because usually and hopefully your systolic pressure is lower than 200, but basically we keep inflating until we can no longer hear any whooshing. And so what we do once we've got to 200, there will be no more circulation in your arm for that moment, and then they will gradually turn a dial to release the pressure and listen, and the pressure will begin to drop on the gauge. And then it's really cool, you can kind of see it go boop, 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 boop. And so that first top number where you see that first, and verbal and audibly you can hear it in the stethoscope when you're listening to someone, it's the first, it's the highest pressure at which you begin to hear the blood beginning to flow again. That is the heart when it's in that contracted state, and that's the pressure that it's at. So that's telling you what is your systolic pressure. And then as the air continues to come out, as the cuff continues to relax, that is when you can hear the you'll continue to hear the lub-dub, 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 lub-dub. And then the last lub-dub that you hear before it completely becomes silent, that is called your diastolic pressure. That's the pressure of the heart in the relaxed state. And so the question that people have, and generally the thing that we care about most, is the systolic pressure. When you have high blood pressure, like, why should you care? Why is this a problem? Basically, it's telling us that your heart is having to work really hard to get blood throughout your body. It's having to work harder than it really should. So in that case, what we do need to do sometimes is give hypertensive medications in order to lower your blood pressure, just so we're not working your heart so hard. There are a lot of confounding variables that are associated with taking your blood pressure. These involve things like doing any physical activity or drinking any caffeine within 30 minutes of the actual check of your blood pressure, because basically this is just a snapshot in time of your blood pressure. Your blood pressure will obviously go up if you're doing physical activities like running. So generally what we tell people is that you want to be very sedentary for the minutes leading up to the actual taking of the blood pressure, as well as do not drink any caffeine, because caffeine will elevate your blood pressure. And also, if it looks like you may have high blood pressure, generally we won't really even act on that, because you're in a medical office. People get white coat hypertension. This is just the stress induced by the fact that your lab results here might change your insurance premiums or something. So it's really not a good metric to use. Generally, if we worry that someone does have high blood pressure, we'll get them cuffs so that they can, on their own time, when they're at home and they're more relaxed, we can monitor their blood pressure and make sure that it's not too high. Too high is generally 130, 140, anything over 140 for systolic pressure. And then, if you have too low blood pressure, that's also an issue. So it's really about finding a healthy medium. Having too low blood pressure can result in you fainting a lot, because your heart is not able to get blood up to your head, starving your neurons of oxygen, so people just lose consciousness. But yeah, that's going to wrap things up for this video on what is blood pressure, how's it measured. Hope this helps. Let me know if you have any questions, and thanks for watching.